Hi guys, my name is Taylor, and in this video I'll be going over 5 things that you may be experiencing as you go through the recovery from your eating disorder. For a little bit of background context, I've had an eating disorder or had one for years, didn't even realize that I was doing anything different than I should. I had a lot of anxiety growing up and into adulthood, and channeled a lot of that into eating habits, and whether or not my body changed, that consumed all of my mind. Got addicted to exercising and eventually had an intervention pulled on me by my family, and they essentially let me know I had a problem that I didn't realize I knew I had. So that was a little over a year ago. I'm getting into year 2 of quote unquote recovery, but that's some context sake. And because I didn't ever think I was a textbook anorexic or textbook person who needed treatment at all, everything came as a surprise to me. And in all of my research that I've done online, YouTube videos, etc., I never found that there were a ton of resources for the in-between of 1, realizing you have an eating disorder, and 2, the other side. So there's a lot that happens in the in-between, and I'm here to just tell you you're not crazy and give you a few things to look out for that you probably will experience, but just know you can get through it. I'm still going through it. I think I'm closer to the other side than I was when I started, but yeah, just experienced a lot along the way that I did not foresee. So number 1 thing that should not scare you, but it will scare you, is the extreme hunger you will feel when you finally let yourself eat what your body needs and fuel it in a way that allows it to recover. So this will not last forever, and when you start finally giving your body the nutrients and the number of calories that you actually need, you will go through periods of time where your body is refeeding itself to actually replenish the muscles, the organs in your body, everything that's been depleted along the way. And when we're not eating enough, especially for prolonged periods of time, our bodies think we're going through starvation, and there's a lot that needs to be healed internally as well as externally for us to be healthy. So I remember in like the height of this extreme hunger, I would wake up in the morning and like for a couple weeks just absolutely be craving tacos. I think because they had so many of the nutrients that and foods that I didn't really allow myself to have or have without guilt. So there was the protein, there was the corn tortilla, the beans, etc. Like I only was craving tacos for breakfast, I think because my body was so desperate for those nutrients, and I would be starving. And you know, in the beginning you're eating more than you're used to by far, because you have to, because you've committed to this recovery, and you will feel hungrier and be confused as to why you're so hungry even though you're eating more. So do not fear. It's really uncomfortable. It can feel very intimidating. You can feel like you're completely out of control and that maybe your mind is playing tricks on you, that you don't actually need all that you're consuming, but you feel really hungry. The way to get through that is just to put in the reps of listening to your body, as uncomfortable as it is, because it all feels wrong, it all feels uncomfortable, but it settles down and normalizes. But just know you will feel uncontrollably hungry. The second thing that you will probably experience is extreme fatigue and exhaustion. You'll probably feel like a teenager again when you just need 12 hours of sleep a night, you know, fading in the middle of the day, being tired when you wake up. If you're a person who likes to work out, it probably will feel like workouts are a lot harder to get motivated for. And again, not something to be scared of, but it's something that I didn't realize would happen. And as a person who thrives off of releasing energy in different ways, especially working out, it's usually hard for me to sit still for any period of time. At least I'm always fidgeting, but to feel as tired as I did kind of in the middle part of last year for months can be really alarming, because you just feel like you're different and you get scared that maybe you are just a blob and a low energy person. But this is normal. This will happen. Let yourself rest. You will not need to sit in bed for 3 days at a time for the rest of your life. So fear not, but that fear of exhaustion and what you're feeling will be there. Energy comes back, but I would even say now I'm still less energetic than I think I will be when things are completely settled. All right, number 3 are the body aches you will probably experience. Holy cow, when you're recovering from an eating disorder and your body finally gets the calories and nutrients that it needs to heal, I really do think that you start to feel that in your muscles, especially after, you're feeling fatigued and your body will probably be aching. I felt like a child going through a growth spurt for so long, and there were different parts of my body that would be achy, be in pain, be super uncomfortable. I had a hard time falling asleep for months last year just because my legs felt like they were crawling and I couldn't get them settled. So just know this is normal. You'll probably be achy all over, be achy in your legs. My joints went through a period when they really hurt and I thought I had arthritis or an autoimmune disease or something. I went through a period of months when my knees hurt so bad and bending down or squatting down was just not even an option. It just hurt so much. My wrist was hurting. It was just so bizarre. So there's a lot of side effects that happen when your body is recovering, and those body aches are definitely one of them. So fear not. I am working with a dietitian, and she did let me know that a lot of people recovering from an eating disorder do have potential complications after and potentially develop autoimmune diseases. So don't be scared, but just look out for that if things don't get better. There's certain ways to mitigate that though. For example, the one that we discussed involved going gluten-free that really helps joint pain. So there are solutions and things to help ease you, but you'll probably experience that. The 4th one, before the last one, number 5, is the constant body changes. And as someone who went through an eating disorder, is going through it, if you are also going through an eating disorder or recovering or thinking about recovering and getting to the other side, the biggest fear is obviously how a change will manifest in your body. And it's especially challenging because you've probably reached a weight or getting closer to a weight or a look that you're most comfortable with. I did, and it unfortunately wasn't healthy. So to finally get closer to that and then hit a wall and have your body have to go through more changes, the uncertainty is what we really hate as people who are going through this. So much of the eating disorder, I think, is spurred on by anxiety and the desire to control something to then maybe help us feel okay in the world. At least that's what it was for me. So to dive into a process that I knew I had to go through, but also knowing that my body wouldn't look the same and would change, is terrifying. So throughout your recovery, there's usually not a set time that it will take. I've heard probably, or at least over a year, probably under 2 to get back settled. So I'm on year 2, so prayers up. But your body will change a lot and it will feel so weird. Your perception probably isn't reality. So even if you feel like you're gaining a ton of weight and bloated, you will be bloated. It's really uncomfortable, but bloating just happens when you're healing. Just know that consistency is around the corner, but you're gonna have to go through a lot of inconsistency at first. So this is normal, don't be alarmed. When you're healing, your body is just so happy that you're giving it the nutrients it needs to grow and or act in a way that's the natural way our bodies are supposed to act and perform, which is so beautiful. And it's sad that we've abused that for that long in pursuit of just being perfect or okay or desirable. So yeah, it's uncomfortable. It will feel like maybe every day, maybe every few weeks, something changes, something stops fitting. Maybe you're a size that you never were before. Maybe you're experiencing rebound weight where you're heavier than you were even before you started. That's normal too. Again, things tend to normalize, but it's definitely an emotional process to go through, realizing that what the physique that you want and you've always dreamed of that's in your heart and in your head probably doesn't match up with what your body actually needs to be. And I'm not there yet. I'm not fully confident, not fully happy, but I'm a lot happier and way more settled than I was before. So I know the hurdle that I have to get over of just being like, it is what it is. I'm so much closer to that than I was before, and it's so much better on the other side. So keep going with those body changes. And the last thing is, it may feel isolating and it's really hard. So when you're finally allowing yourself to heal, because eating disorders, I think, are so, like any disorder, it's mental. You're in your head so much, and you think that the world is seeing you one way, and they're probably seeing you another way. They're probably picking up on all of your anxiety. But just moving through a process that can feel so isolating while your mind has to change and your physical body is also changing too is really hard. So you're retraining both almost your mind and your soul, and your body's changing along with it. So there's nothing to grab onto, and you're just sort of at the mercy of this process and of this vessel that needs to heal. So it's really hard, it's really challenging. Know that it's worth it, and the peace on the other side, again, I'm not there yet, but I'm close, is so much better than the angst that characterized my entire life with something like this. So yeah, it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be weird, it's gonna feel isolating. You're gonna be nervous, maybe going out or being around people who saw you one way and then your body's changing and becoming something else. But just know it's good, and this is a season of your life that you just have to let go and be at the mercy of the healing process. So with that said, I do have a few things that have helped me along the way. Nothing groundbreaking, nothing earth-shattering, nothing that probably isn't said by the internet or a million other people, but I thought I was going into this process blind. I didn't understand the actual in-between of when you find out you have an eating disorder and the end. It's like, what happens in the middle? This is what happens in the middle, is this funky Twilight Zone time of being like, who the heck am I? I was wrong my entire life, etc. So here are a few things to help mitigate what we just talked about and, hopefully ease your day a little bit. So number one, this pertains to the muscle aches and discomfort that you're probably feeling, is a Hypervolt or Theragun. I think there's another one that it's called, but there's a lot on the market. I have a Hypervolt. I meant to grab it, but I didn't. And these are just the self massagers that are used for recovery after a workout or something. I use mine all the time, and when I'm sore and after I work out, and I don't actually know how much it helps with recovery, but it feels really good. So during the time when, I couldn't fall asleep because my legs were aching, or just during the day, I would keep this on me all the time, constantly massaging myself. to release your muscles, and it was a total game changer. I don't know what I would have done without it, truly. So that just really helps ease the tension, and especially in those moments of pain, gives you a little bit of a solution. Number 2 are baths. So everyone also says this for exercise recovery. Everyone says put Epsom salt in your bath, and I put Epsom salt in almost every bath that I take, and I truly don't know if there's actually a difference between putting that in the bath and just letting it be regular hot water, but that does feel good. It will help you sleep better, relax you, so recommend the bath. The third thing, in slightly more of a vain note, is your choice of clothing. It is okay to wear big, comfortable, loose clothes for as long as you need to. I have lived in big t-shirts and sweats, or spandex shorts and big t-shirts, since March, also thanks to quarantine, but I don't think I put on a true pair of pants for like 8 months. Let yourself do it. Let yourself be comfortable. I realized, my dietitian told me this, I don't like things like sticking to me, especially in pants. And she also mentioned that sort of like OCD tendency is really common, so maybe other people with eating disorders feel the same way, but it can be really uncomfortable when things are touching you. So feeling free and easy is nice, and the last thing you want to worry about is just all the little nuances of your body and what's happening if you're wearing tight clothing or trying to fit in the clothing that fit you before. I got rid of so many pants, and it was really sad, but gotta do what you gotta do. So big clothes, do it, just get through it, sister. And I'm looking down because my note's right here. Fourth thing, before the last thing, number 5, is personal maintenance. I think when your body feels super uncomfortable, you feel really uncomfortable in your changing skin, as much as you can control and make feel okay will help ease the other symptoms. So showering, getting your hair done, doing your nails, shaving, treating yourself well is so important, so that you can kind of offset the changes in discomfort you're feeling in your body. I think it would be hard if I had like completely let myself go during the process. So you still want to feel feminine and okay and clean, so definitely keep up the personal maintenance. And the last thing I'll mention sounds really cliche, but if you have a friend, community, tell them what you're going through. Tell them about the process. It becomes so much easier to navigate the world, especially when people that you love, if you're just open and honest about it. I did this, and I think the biggest benefit for me was, 1, having people encourage me, but 2, it released me of the fear of seeing people when I myself looked different. And I knew that if I told them why I would start to look different, they would just encourage me in that journey, rather than maybe before I was getting encouragement and praise for looking a lot leaner than I do now. This was especially hard because I love working out in all the studios I went to. I was teaching yoga before everything got closed down, thanks California. Teaching yoga at the time, and I would be approached and asked like how I leaned out. I finally had like a 6-pack show, all of that, realizing now that that's not really the best, but I was terrified of then stepping back into that environment and looking different, and to me that meant that I was a failure if I didn't look like I was worthy of being in the position of being an instructor, which is twisted, but I think it's normal. And the people that I did tell, and my family and my friends, it just helped ease the burden of me thinking that people would be concerned that I looked different and thought that I'd given up. And then if I told them that I was going through, they'd know that, okay, I look better because I'm getting healthier. So if you can, tell someone, tell me. But that's all I got for today. I'll have a couple more coming, and hope you enjoyed it.